Welcome to Cronkite Sports Live's continued coverage of Arizona State baseball. I'm Gavin Schall, alongside Arizona State baseball reporters Colton Dodson, Bobby Kraus, and Colton, we're going to start with you. We're going to talk Arizona State starting pitching. They were really good at the beginning of the season, then Edward Bueno got hurt, the competition picked up. They were just in Corvallis taking on the third-ranked team in the country in Oregon State. What do you make of the struggles of late, and how do they fix it? Arizona State's women's basketball team strolled into Corvallis, Oregon last night, having won 15 games in a row. Now, no one was making Warriors comparisons, but Charlie Turner Thorne and company were feeling pretty good about themselves. Pretty good. Oregon State and sweet shooting senior Jamie Wisner put that noise to rest in a 67-44 romp. What went wrong? Well, that's a little bit above my pay grade. Fortunately, we have Hoops PhD Chaz Frazier in studio to break it all down. Now, Arizona State, a senior-laden group, they were playing the best basketball of their careers. Then they go into Corvallis, just get blown out. What happened? So to break down what went down, we bring in Jacob Janauer. Jacob, welcome in. Let's start big picture. What were your takeaways from an Arizona State season that ended with 15 straight losses to Division I competition? And let's roll number 2, that weird stick sport right here. Arizona State down by 1. That's a pocket pass. Zach Handy puts it away to tie up the game against San Diego State. But wait, still 15 seconds on the clock. Handy wins the faceoff, doing his best Marshawn Lynch impersonation. He doesn't care about defenders. He's fueled by Skittles. Taste the rainbow, Handy.
It was polarizing on Twitter.
It certainly was, and I'm totally in support of this. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. Should not be on ESPN.
Have you played that game?
Not a sport. No, of course not. I'm a very cool, sports-loving person. So what I'm hearing from you, Chaz, is that this was a little bit of Oregon State playing over their heads and Arizona State having their worst game in a couple of months. That being said, when a team has a 15-game winning streak, it has a tendency to cover up flaws that otherwise might be visible. I need you to make them visible.
$100,000 raise before he's even coached a game, Gavin.
Now, Eliav, I'm not an economics major. I don't know if this was right, but it was 100% necessary. The Sun Devils were fresh off losing 5 coaches to other programs. At that point, they couldn't afford to lose their second offensive coordinator in just over 2 weeks. As the great poet Jalen Rose often says, in life, you never get what you deserve, only what you have the leverage to negotiate, and Chip had leverage.
How far do you think they'll go in this tournament, the big tournament?
Let me tell you this, Eliav. As long as they can avoid Connecticut in their bracket, I think this team is going all the way to the Final Four. They've been highly successful over the last 2 years, still have most of that same core. They nearly beat Kentucky this year, nearly beat South Carolina, who's undefeated, the number 2 ranked team in the country, knocked off Florida State, knocked off Stanford. This team can beat anyone, anywhere, as long as they don't have to play Connecticut. So high expectations for that women's basketball team. Now back to you, Eliav. Newly hired Arizona State swim coach Michael Phelps. Suns general manager Ryan McDonough said that the blame was more on himself than it even was on Hornacek, which raises the question, why wasn't Ryan McDonough fired too? This is the latest reminder that in the NBA, you're only as good as your talent. And that Jeff Hornacek was fired because after injuries, his team didn't have a lot of it. All right, so a group of starters that can't quite figure it out yet, and a group of relievers that I'm hearing there's a lot of talent there, but they haven't put it all together. Competition's only going to get tougher for Arizona State baseball. We'll see if they figure it out.